What's going on, guys? JK here. It is a Monday. Welcome to our premiere of JK Says right here on Twitch. We're also on YouTube Live. And you know what? That's going to make things easier for us because if you miss it live, you can always go back to YouTube and see the show whenever you feel like it. Great thing about technology, 30-minute show is where we're going to go from the start. We'll measure the success rate throughout the first couple of weeks and go from there. We're live from Minneapolis, Minnesota. Very snowy Minneapolis. Many parts of the metro expected to get 6 inches to a foot of snow today. We're going to stay inside for a while and have some fun right here on JK Says. There are lots of ways to get a hold of the show. You can tweet us at JK Says Radio. You can find us on Skype. We're going to have call-ins throughout the show. Get those calls going right now. JK Says Radio, find us, and you can get those Skype calls in. If I do not answer or hang up immediately, it is not you, it is me. I will be trying to get a point across. So some calls may get taken, some might not. Don't get frustrated. Chat is available as well. If I do not acknowledge you in chat, my apologies. I'm trying to do roughly a dozen things at once, but we're going to have some fun here and hope this works out here on our show, JK Says. I'm JK. Let's see what I have to say, shall we? There are so many things to talk about on this show. We're going to talk sports, gaming, entertainment, current events. There is so much available right now, and in 30 minutes, that's difficult to get to. If you haven't done so, and you're new to the show, or you're new to our stream, and you found us a different way, I typically play sports games, but I've ventured out into a wider variety of gaming, and I'm going to do this radio show beforehand, so that's going to kind of cut down on the gaming, but something I wanted to do. And you know what? It's my channel. I want to do what I want to do. I want to do what's fun. I want to do what's working, and you know what? Let's go. Let's get this started, shall we? Let's find out what I have to say. And there's no better place to start than one of the best sports days in recent years, and as the NFL has kind of waned off of me for the last 3 or 4 seasons, I still look forward to Championship Sunday. And being in Minneapolis, we'll talk about that in a minute. Let's start with what many thought would be the blowout game, the Jacksonville Jaguars and the New England Patriots. Now, this is, on paper, an absolute massacre when it comes to a team who has been here dozens of times, it seems like, over the last 20 years, in Tom Brady, a guy who many would consider the greatest player in the history of the NFL. More on that in a moment. But to have Jacksonville, a seemingly no-name team when it comes to NFL prowess, this team has struggled to get to 3, 4, 5 wins a season over the last 6 or 7 years, but here they come. Last year had a decent outing. This year absolutely massacred everyone when it comes to the AFC South, and now they're going to face a New England Patriots team that is in as big of a dynasty mode as one can possibly be when it comes to the National Football League. So what did we expect? Well, we probably expected a 40-point blowout at some point. That was not the case. Blake Bortles made sure that game remained close throughout. In fact, Tom Brady, going into this game, phantom hand injury. What was he going to play? Of course he was going to play. Did you think Tom Brady was not going to play in this game? And could there be an organization in sports that's more secretive about anything on their team than the New England Patriots? Like, seriously, Tom Brady could have been gutted by a bull, and nobody would have said anything about that injury. We wouldn't know about it. Early reports suggested that his hand was gushing blood on Wednesday after a handoff during practice. Gushing blood was the term that was used. He was fine. He had a small black bandage on that throwing hand, and he was fine, throwing 26 of 38 complete passes for 290 yards and 2 touchdowns. Typical Tom Brady. And in typical Tom Brady fashion, allowing the opposition to get up early. Yeah, Jacksonville looked like they were in control of this game very early on, but there they go. Third quarter, fourth quarter rolling on, Patriots still losing. They've got Jacksonville right where they want them, and sure enough, things not necessarily going to plan. Rob Gronkowski hurt, out for the game. Who do you call on? How about Danny Amendola? First play, touchdown. Thanks for playing. Now it's close, 2014. And then, as it got later on, Danny Amendola came through once again.
Under center, second and goal. Fake it to White. Looking around, has time, throws it. Did he get the feet down? What an effort! Touchdown, Amendola!
Courtesy CBS Sports Jim Nantz. Danny Amendola, 2 touchdowns in the fourth quarter, and that's all she wrote. And New England would hold on to defeat the Jacksonville Jaguars and send them back home to Florida. New England going to the Super Bowl once again, and it is seemingly a running joke that Tom Brady continues to dominate. I don't understand how anyone can even come up with the notion that Tom Brady is anything short of the greatest player in the history of the NFL. You can like him, you can hate him all you want, but Tom Brady has done things no one else has even dreamed of doing. Yeah, the Tom Brady-Peyton Manning feud of the late 2000s and early 2010s. Is that a decade? I don't know. It's not a battle at all. Tom Brady dominates this conversation no matter which way you slice it, and quite frankly, I'm confused as to why anyone would have anything to say. Joe Montana, John Elway, Peyton Manning, not even close. This will be the 8th Super Bowl appearance for Tom Brady. No one has even come close to that. He has 4 Super Bowl MVPs. He is 5-2 in the big game. And if he could go 6, there is no discussion anymore. The discussion would slowly become, is he the greatest professional athlete in American sports history? That's something you have to consider as well. Moving on, Eagles-Vikings. This was the game everyone thought would be close. Philadelphia, another home number 1 seed, another underdog in the championship game. Are you kidding me with this? How are you a 3-point underdog at home as the number 1 seed with a capable backup quarterback who has dominated for the most part leading up until this point? Well, Nick Foles has gotten the job done, replacing Carson Wentz admirably. Eagles, first defensive plays, they got punched in the mouth. Vikings coming out strong, punching Eagles and their fans right in the kisser. And the Vikings were up 7-0, and the Twin Cities here in Minneapolis and St. Paul were going absolutely berserk. I could hear it from my house. People, my neighbors, screaming in delight. It didn't last long. 38 unanswered points for the Eagles. Thanks for playing, Vikings. Game over. Now, Minnesota Vikings fans should not be terribly upset by this, considering they should be used to it. 27 years now of futility, if we're talking 4 major sports, and we're not including the Minnesota Lynx, who have a plethora of championships, but among cities and metro areas that have 4 major professional sports, basketball, football, baseball, hockey, the Twin Cities has easily the longest drought of a championship. You have to go back to 1991 when the Minnesota Twins won the World Series. Not since then has a major professional team played in a championship game, let alone winning it. That is crazy to think about. Losing is prevalent here. Losing appears to be a state of mind here in Minneapolis. Yeah, it's a sad day. It sucks here. The attitudes of people were noticeably different. After last week's Minneapolis miracle, the attitudes on Monday, the day after, were full of joy. Everything was noticeably different. Today, not so much. Introverts everywhere, coming back out of the woodwork, walking with their heads on the ground or heads facing the ground. They don't want to acknowledge that anything's happening. Ugly scene. Ugly all around. Vikings didn't bother to show up, and now they have a quarterback situation where everyone's is a restricted or unrestricted free agent for next season. This could be a pivotal point for the Minnesota Vikings and their sports fans. Many calling this game the most important game in Minneapolis sports history. That might be a little far-fetched, but nonetheless, this was tough. This was tough. I'm not a Vikings fan. I consider myself a Colts fan, but that was tough to watch. I was rooting heavily for a home team to finally get a Super Bowl. That is not going to be the case. And in fact, when everyone is up here in Minneapolis for the next couple of weeks, you're going to see Eagle fan, one of the worst fan bases, by the way, in all of sports. If you've seen some of the videos online of what they did to Vikings fans on their trip to Philly, Philly fan is just the worst. And they're going to be all over the place. The only thing better would be a Philly v. Raiders playoff game. But we know that's not going to happen. Patriots fan, however, you're living golden. You are living golden for the next couple of weeks. But don't think it's going to last forever. Tom Brady's got to retire soon, right? Dude is 40 years old, and he thinks he's going to play for another couple of years at least. I think he can. Why can't Tom Brady play until he's 43 and still compete at a high level? Has he shown any sign that he can slow down? I don't think so. Over the next couple of weeks, we'll give you our synopsis and breakdowns of the Super Bowl 52, right here in Minneapolis. And I'll try and get some reaction over the next couple of weeks as far as that is concerned. Consider this number. Indoor teams are now 0-13 all-time in the Super Bowl era in the conference championship game when they go outdoors to play it. That is a mind-boggling number to me. 0-13 when an indoor team goes outdoors for the conference championship. Tough. And the NFL likes to clamor about how the parity is. You always see the parity wheel where every team has somehow beaten another team at some point. Parity, not so much in the NFL. Consider the last 5 seasons of the National Football League. 4 of those years, both number 1 seeds went on to play in the Super Bowl. Only one number 1 seed of the 10 number 1 seeds over the last 5 years, only one has failed to get there, and that was Dallas, the year they hosted the Super Bowl. They lost in the divisional game. Just look at this year, 2017, number 1 seed, New England, Philly. 2016, Dallas blew it, but New England was there. 2015, Denver, Carolina. 2014, New England, Seattle. 2013, Denver, Seattle. Thanks, parity. Full of it, right? We'll see if this Super Bowl means a lot, but you know ratings are going to be down for it. You know it's not going to be the highest rated Super Bowl ever. NFL ratings were down 10%. Does anyone think this is an intriguing matchup? This is just more of the same to me. I hope they both lose. We know that's not going to happen. I'll watch, of course, because commercials, but we'll break it down as we get closer to that time. All right, if you have anything to say about it, hey, give me a call on Skype. Find me, JK Says Radio, and you can call in on Skype. Tell me what you have to say. We'd love to hear from you. I'll be scheduling some interviews, by the way, over the next couple of weeks, or trying to schedule some interviews, and we'll do that. And if this show continues its path, perhaps we can get some additional time in. Of course, we're going to be gaming in the latter stages of our streams. So JK Says at 11:30, game stream starting a little after noon, because I'm going to take a slight time out here after this one's over. We're halfway home. Let's get to our next category. How about Nintendo? We're going to switch gears here. And if you do have anything else to say concerning football, I'll gladly talk about that, but we're going to move on. The Nintendo had a not really a press conference, one of those Treehouse Direct type things where they just kind of showcase something but not really talk about it in depth, leave people wondering more and more. Nintendo introduced something called Labo. I think it's how you pronounce it. Labo. They didn't. I haven't really delved into it too much. Essentially what it is, it's cardboard. Yeah, that's right. Cardboard. Absolutely nothing but cardboard. So you might be wondering, why are they selling us cardboard? And why are they selling it online right now for $70? Good question. That price point, by the way, is absurd. I don't know what you get in that pack. They've been very secretive about that. It releases on April 20th, but we're going to learn more about it over the next few weeks, I am sure. Labo essentially utilizes your Nintendo Switch, and you create things it tells you to create. So it'll give you a piece of cardboard, but you kind of maneuver it so that it creates a piano or a robot or something that's interactive. The potential is there, and artsy people might enjoy this. I'm not going to get anything out of this, personally. I can see how others might. Curious what you think about that with Nintendo Labo. I don't know. Labo? You think lab, might be what we're looking for. Santo Machete says hello in the chat. I initially when I saw this, I thought the price point was going to be, I don't know, $10. Maybe you get 3 pieces of cardboard. I don't know. I had a friend say that all this is going to end up doing is creating a situation for her dog to start chewing it up. And I would have to agree. Don't leave it out, but dogs can find a way to get into things, and cardboard like that is a key target. We'll see what happens with Nintendo. But it's one of the most Nintendo things I've ever seen. Truly is. Like, I saw that, and that doesn't surprise me. Nintendo Labo, April 20th, $60 and $70 for different packets right now on Amazon. You can pre-order those. I don't know what to expect, and I'm not sure I want anything to do with that. But then again, I'm a guy who doesn't like handheld gaming, and I'm pretty old school when it comes to that. So we'll see what happens. Nintendo always thinking to the future, and quite honestly, they are perhaps overthinking it. We'll find out. All right, let's head to the box office. Every Monday we'll do this weekend at the box office. Let's see how the movies did. Jumanji continues to roll at the box office for the 5th week. They are number 1, generating $20 million. Jumanji: Welcome to the Jungle, the official name. Kind of a, not a sequel, but a different storytelling of the classic book Jumanji. Of course, the original starring Robin Williams was considered by many to be a classic. But this one getting very good reviews and has now grossed over $316 million on a budget of $90. Safe to say that's a success. 12 Strong finishes second at $16.5 million in its opening week. Den of Thieves opens at $15.3 million. The Post, in its 5th week, now at $12 million. They have made $45 million. The Greatest Showman, in its 5th week, a great musical, by the way, $11 million there, over $100 million. And if you look all the way down at 8th place, Star Wars still hanging tough, $6.5 million over the weekend. They are in week number 6. That has made $604 million. I would say it's doing fairly well. All right, that's our weekend at the box office. I've got to say that I love television, and I try and watch new shows. There's some good ones out there. There's also some very bad ones out there. Let's be very clear about that. I love game shows as well. I will always try a new game show, and I'm very picky. I discern. I try and pick apart shows because a lot of the game shows now are extremely awful. They're modernized. They try to look like Who Wants to Be a Millionaire. Remember when Who Wants to Be a Millionaire debuted in the late 90s? It was this brand new thing. It kind of helped revitalize the game show genre after the dead 90s era. It was prime time. It was black. It was dark. Everything was hyped up. We're going to win $1 million. A lot of game shows try and do that. You don't need to replicate that. That's not what makes your show good. There's a show out that's about 3 or 4 episodes in. It's called Ellen's Game of Games. Now, this show is hosted by Ellen DeGeneres. You could not ask for a better host for a game show. She is tremendous. No matter what she does, as an MC, as a host, she's a people person. She's hilarious, and she knows how to work a crowd. She is great. There's nothing wrong with the show in that department. For Ellen, however, what I see out of her show is that it might be trying a little too hard to be laid back. And let me explain what I mean about that. There are a wide variety of games on this show. They'll play 4 games and then a final round. They select contestants out of the audience. They have no idea, but they're going to be selected out of the audience. So they come onto stage and play these wacky games, like there's a giant game of musical chairs, but they're blindfolded, and it's fun. There's a game where you have to make a list. You have to list off certain things, like list George Clooney movies where he was the title role, and you have 3 contestants. And they all start listing things, and that's great. And they'll get wet. They'll get slimed. They'll get thrown into the rafters of the studio via harness. It's fun. The serious portion of the game show guy in me comes out when I start seeing lists for that specific game, for instance, where she'll say ice cream flavors that I've eaten. That's a very subjective thing. How are you supposed to know that? That's a real problem for me. It's not a big deal. Again, it's supposed to be fun. But then you get to the final round, and the winners of each of these games leading up to the final round, they start asking questions. You have to answer like a trivia question. And if you miss it, you're out. But they go in a certain order, and it appears to be a random order because I haven't discerned any possible way that they do this. So the first 3 people could miss all their questions, and the 4th person would automatically win, having done nothing. The competitive person in me thinks this is vastly unfair, but the show itself is awesome. I would highly recommend it. It is on NBC. DVR it, watch it live, go back and watch it on demand. I would highly recommend this show. I'd give it a 9 out of 10 if it weren't for some of the competitive aspects of the show. The end game a little easy as well. You have to name 10 celebrities in 30 seconds when they show you a picture, but it seems like celebrity name game type of end game, which is fine. But Ellen, I think she knocks this one out of the park, and if you watch her show on a daily basis, it's obviously geared towards females, and about 80% of the crowd is female, but she makes it fun. So Ellen's Game of Games, check that out on NBC. We're running down the clock here. Just a few more minutes in our show, folks. We continue to talk gaming, sports, entertainment. If you have anything that you want to say, please jump in and feel free to say hello. This is going to be on YouTube right away as well, so you can go back and watch. I know 11:30 Central start time is not the greatest for everyone, but we are just want to do this right before we start our gaming streams, and it's kind of hit or miss on Twitch. It is kind of hit or miss. But you can follow me on Twitch. Hit that follow button. You can see when we go live. Monday, Wednesday, Friday at 11:30 Central Time. We're on YouTube, of course. You can see that at the top of the screen. And, of course, on Twitter at JK Says Radio. Follow me. Get the latest information as far as our channel is concerned. If you want to get in through Skype, Skype line is open. Find me on Skype at JK Says Radio. And you can tell me what you have to say. All right. How about that government? They're supposed to be voting on the change to the government shutdown right now, but yeah, so does that mean we can just go around and do whatever we want? What are the rules on the government shutdown? I'm genuinely curious. The fact that we are not paying our military is atrocious to me, and that boggles my mind that they rejected that bill, by the way. How do you function a government and not pay your military? How do you function a government, have the United States Postal Service, by the way, my mail carrier just walked by not more than an hour ago, is he getting paid? What, do they continue to have to work? How does this, I don't understand. The government's been around for 200 plus years, but we're just going to shut them down? Someone explain that to me. You have bickering Democrats and Republicans that are just squawking at each other, basically, and everyone else has to suffer because of that. Guess who's still getting paid? They are. If you still think this two-party system works, you are out of your mind. All it is fighting now. It's unbelievably bad to me, and it drives me up the wall. And on Twitch, I try to keep it not political, but come on. It's embarrassing as hell that we have the government not functioning at all. Like, literally not functioning. Come on. We're better than this. We are better than this. All right, we're running the clock down. It is time for my final say. And at the end of the show, I'll give you my final say, and then we're going to head out, and we're going to take a short time out. We'll reset the stream, and we will play some games. I don't even know where to begin with this, because when I first saw this, I was appalled. I had to check Snopes, and I'm not even sure what happened. But it was a real thing. People are eating laundry pods. I don't get it. Yeah, this has been in the news for a week now, but this is a real thing. And natural selection is something that we should continue to endure. Let me lead off by saying that. I don't know why, and we talked about the government shutdown. We got a new follow. Thank you so much. Welcome to the stream. We have a government shutdown, but at the same time, they want the government to step in and say that they should regulate Tide Pods. You've got to be out of your mind. Who are the people eating these things besides millennials? And I hate to pound on a younger generation, but you guys are morons. You guys are complete morons. I don't know how else to say it. Please explain to me who thought that would be a good idea. And the people that are doing it. A few days ago, I was looking at Tide's Twitter account, and they have had to talk to people who are eating these things. Here's a message on Twitter. It says, "Help at Tide. I ate a Tide Pod because I lost a bet. Now I feel like I'm burning a hole in my stomach." Whether that's real, I don't know, but it sounds pretty real. And if you eat one of these things, why is your first inclination to jump on social media and talk about it? You see that all the time on Twitter or Facebook. Someone will be like, I need help. I sawed my hand off. What should I do? What should you do? Nothing. Do nothing. That's what you should do. Just sit there, take it like a man or a woman. Although, to be fair, I don't think any females are doing this. I'm pretty sure it's all guys. Let's be honest, guys are so dumb for the most part. There's really nothing else I can say about that. Don't be a moron. And if you are eating soap and laundry detergent on purpose, you deserve everything you get. All right, that's going to do it for us, guys. We're going to step aside, and we are going to take a timeout. I'm going to stop the stream. We're going to do this every Monday, Wednesday, Friday. I'll stop the stream. We're going to play some games here in just a moment. I'm not sure what I'm going to play. I haven't really thought about it. I've been focusing on this show. What that'll do is allow this show to get on YouTube immediately for its 30-minute duration, and we will play some games. So stick around. Thank you so much for tuning in, guys. Thank you for the follow. I appreciate it. We'll be back on Wednesday. We're going to talk more NFL. We'll continue with our gaming chat. We'll continue with entertainment. Remember, Skype's available. Love to get your calls on Wednesday, 11:30 Central Time. We will see you then. Stick around here on my channel as we're going to have some games. We might play some Inside on Xbox One. That's a short game. We might play that. Who knows? All right. We'll see you on Wednesday for JK Says. Stick around for gaming coming up next right here on Twitch. I'm JK. Be kind to one another. We'll see you next time. Have a great rest of your day.